Hello, listeners. Welcome to another great podcast. This is Satavisa. For today's podcast with Analytics Insight, we have with us Bhavesh Goswami, founder and CEO of CloudThat. Hello, Bhavesh. Welcome to Analytics Insight. It's great to have you here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Satavisha. Really happy to be here.
Thank you. Now, can you please tell me how CloudThat is contributing to the growth and transformation of cloud analytics and big data education?
Absolutely. So when CloudThat started in 2012, we were the first one to have cloud trainings in India. No other company was doing any cloud training um, in anywhere in India. So of course, we are the founder of cloud trainings in India, so to say. Since then, we have trained over 5 lakh people in niche technologies like cloud, analytics, big data, DevOps, and so forth, right? And so I think we have been instrumental in India getting ready for cloud. If you look at any large companies, whether there's TCS, Infosys, HCL, right? The first few thousand people trained on cloud has mostly all been done by CloudThat. So, we were part of those initial discussions and ramping up those initial teams to be able to do cloud computing in those large organizations. So, I would say that we have made a fairly big impact as a corporation on the entire cloud ecosystem of India.
That sounds great. Now, it will be great if you can give me some of the use cases of awards, achievements, and recognitions that you have received so far.
Great, yes. So, I think some of the most prestigious ones have been um, so Microsoft has something called as Global Partner Awards. These are global awards where all the Microsoft partners, I think there's like few 100,000 partners all over the world, and all of them compete to win this awards. And in the last 3 years, we have been nominated for Microsoft Learning Partner of the Year twice in 2020 and 2022. So you can imagine that for last, we have been consistently ranked as some of the best training companies in the world by Microsoft by awarding us, by having in the finalists as Microsoft Partner of the Year. So that's been very prestigious for us. We are also Microsoft Partner of the Year India in 2017. In 2021, we were the Superstar Award winner for Microsoft. And, in terms of AWS as well, we have had, several accolades that is given our way. So overall, I think Cloudthat has been recognized pretty well to the industry, all to the industry.
Well, that's really interesting. Now, if we discuss a little more about this increased demand in the cloud computing area, what do you think are some of the skills or certification or job roles that remain the most popular?
Sure. So let's first talk about the demand, right? So the CEO of JP Morgan, Mr. Jamie, he said recently that as a CEO of JP Morgan, I'm no longer CEO of a bank or financial institution. I'm CEO of an IT company because literally everything from financial institutions to logistic companies, to everything you can and everything you can think of. It's actually IT plays a very big, very crucial role in all of this companies, right? And so literally every company is now an IT company in some sense because IT plays such a big role. So the demand for cloud skills is just booming because most of the large organizations have already moved to cloud or have plans to move to cloud. And so the number of cloud professionals required is just exploding literally every single day, uh, you know, uh, in the industry. So there's a huge demand for that. In terms of certifications that are good, I would like to name some of the Microsoft certifications that are there. Now, Microsoft has 52 certifications in cloud, all the way from things like Azure, which is their cloud platform, to Dynamics, which is their business apps, to security, and new things, low code, no code things like Power Platform. So all through and of course data and AI, right? So all through the solution areas, Microsoft has several certifications. Some of the most popular ones are AZ/104, which is for infrastructure on Azure. There is AZ-204, which is for developing on Azure. There is AZ-305, which is architecting on Azure, AZ/-400, which is DevOps on Azure, and so forth. And there is an entire series for SC series, SC 900 for security fundamentals. And then there are SC 200, 300, and so forth for more advanced topics on security. Similarly, for Power Platform for Dynamics, there are varieties of this certification series. So I would say that those are probably the most comprehensive certifications out in the industry. And if you have those certifications, then you are very attractive to any recruiter who's looking for candidates. You're very attractive for organizations who are looking to hire because, there's a severe shortage of certified professionals. And so if you're already certified, you're already at the top of the funnel for them to be able to go ahead and, hire and have you as part of the organization who's working on those cloud projects.
Thanks for explaining that to me. Now, what do you think are the demands for courses such as engineering, database administration, programming development, security, and analytics?
So, like a lot of times when I do a session or I'm in a conference or any public kind of event, right? A lot of times people come to me and the typical question looks like this: I am doing XYZ. Can I move to cloud? And my answer is absolutely. Whatever you're doing, that XYZ, just add cloud to the front of it, right? And that's your new role. So, for example, folks come and to me and say, "Hey, I'm a DBA. Do I have a job in cloud?" Yes, you are a cloud DBA, right? Because as the stuffs are moving to cloud, all the databases are also moving to cloud, and the tools and techniques that you need to manage databases on cloud is very different. It's completely different compared to how you would manage those databases on premises, right, in your physical environment. So basically, yes, so there's a need for cloud DBAs. Similarly, they say, okay, I am a developer. There is a need for cloud developers who can develop for cloud native applications. I'm a system administrator. Then you are a cloud system administrator on cloud who will manage on that. I'm a project manager. Okay, now you're a cloud project manager. And somebody might say, how is that different? Well, uh, you know, while project management is similar and same, but there are some nuances and some of the things which cloud makes super easy that you don't need to worry about in a physical environment. And some challenges that cloud will throw at you as well that you need to be aware of as a project manager. So if you want to manage a project on cloud, then you need some education on that as well, right? So literally any and every job that in IT that you can think of will have a counterpart on cloud. And most of the times it's as simple as you take your position, you add the word cloud at the beginning of it, right? And that's the position: cloud DBA, cloud developer, cloud system administrator, right? And that's what you are targeting. So absolutely, um, Satyeshar, I feel that the need for the cloud professional is booming. If you open any job portal, whether that is Monster India or Naukri or anything, and you just search for cloud demand, you will see there's a huge number of open positions, open for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, right? Because there's not enough professionals to fill those positions. If you look at some of those large companies I talked about, TCS, Infosys, Wipro, Accenture, and so forth in India, most of them have more than 10 to 20,000 positions open in cloud that they want to hire and train and groom, right? So yes, the demand is booming. It's completely a market for job seekers who have cloud knowledge at this time.
Well, that's a very interesting insight to add in the context of cloud. Now, I'm a little curious about what must be the impact of cloud based digital transformation in the IT service providers.
So, Satisha, in terms of IT service providers, right? Basically, they are forced to adapt because most companies are going through the digital transformation. And I think there's a very popular saying that in the COVID, we went through 20 years of transformation in just 2 years because it's not whether I want to do it or not, I was forced to transform. And so all these corporations had were forced to figure out how to efficiently work from home, how to allow employees to efficiently access data from home, how to protect your data when people are all over the place and working from home. So it was so for some of the people, it was a forced transformation. And some are now realizing that, okay, we have anyways been on the journey, right? Let's just go ahead and finish the transformation. Let's finish what we have started in the COVID. So IT and ITS companies, there's a huge demand for other corporations looking to do transformation, digital transformation, and looking for partners in that journey. So absolutely, that's one of the biggest booming segment, and every IT ITS company is looking to be part of it. Now, what when you do the digital transformation, it is not just uh, okay, you go and you do something, right? Let's say you want to teach something like a Zoom call or Microsoft Teams to an entire set of people. Not only you need to transform the organization, you need to be able to educate the teams as well on how to efficiently work in a transform organization. So that's a lot of you know it's just not that you go ahead and do and you get out. You have to also teach, and you have to also ramp up the organization's employees to be able to take maximum benefit of this transformation. And I think that's where we see a lot of companies struggle as well, because they don't invest maybe too much into that, right? And so I think because of this transformation, the employees who are already skilled, who are already enabled, and who already know these technologies will be the most productive employees for an organization. And that's why we see that, not only that IT ITS companies are looking to kind of have a lot of requirement for Knights to the migration and to do digital transformation, but companies are looking for employees who can be part of this success journeys for them. A lot of companies are also creating center of excellence and identifying employees who are already skilled, who are already um, good at that, so that they can guide the rest of the employees in this transformation. Hope this answers your question.
Well, yes, it does. Now, lastly, I want to ask you that what are the future plans for this industry, and how your company is going to impact on that?
So, like everything, the industry is definitely changing. So, not only if you look at the initial years of something like Microsoft Azure or some of the other cloud providers, right? They were releasing maybe 3 or 4 services a year, new services, right? So, for example, they release something like an Azure virtual machine, and Azure virtual networking, and so forth, right? And then that's it for a year, and then next year they'll have some database services, and next year something else. But now, not only that, these services are transforming and adding new features. New services are coming at a very rapid rate. Now, it's not unlike to have 20, 25 services, new services launched in a year. And it is not unlikely to have, 2, 3 thousand major feature releases in those cloud providers. So not only that transformation is happening, the pace of transformation is accelerating. That not only we are changing faster, right? And so um, definitely cloud is not static. This is nothing is static. We are actually going and accelerating the change in the environment now. In this, so what's happening is, how do we adapt? A lot of companies are struggling, right? Because if you look at the older days, there was some guys who was working on Java, and Java changes every 2 or 3 years. So okay, he's productive for 2, 3 years. Every 3 years, new version of Java releases, and they have to learn some new things after 3 years. Compare that with every year there are 2,000 major changes happening, right? How do we build an organization that can not only absorb these changes that's happening in the market, but then use it to the benefit of their customers, right? And use it to the benefit of their organization. So the entire ecosystem, I think, is becoming very interesting, very challenging, but very interesting. And I think a lot of different models have been tried by companies. One of the models, for example, we use at CloudThat is that we have put something like relentless learning as part of our company values. And as you know, that relentless is not something which is a nice positive word. If I say you are relentless, it can mean both positive, it can have negative way as well. But we intentionally put something which is not always positive in our values, because we tell ourselves and we tell our team that, look, unless we relentlessly learn, it's not always easy. Sometimes we have to read on weekends. Sometimes we have to give a vacation day and study for an examination. But unless we study relentlessly, we'll fall behind. The future lies for the people and the corporations who are constantly able to take new information in, absorb it, digest it, and be able to use that new information to the benefit of the company. And those are the organizations that will survive and thrive. And that's the future of cloud.
Well, that sounds really interesting. I'm sure this is definitely going to help all of our listeners too. Thank you, Bhavesh, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Same here. The pleasure is all mine. Thanks for having me.